So it's time for Power Rankings.
Yep.
And,
This week is
Yeah.
wild.
We
For
got
the
some
first
newbies.
time, we got some teams in here that have never, ever been in my Power Rankings. So let's start at number 10 with one of those teams, Alex. I was just talking about them. You're wearing gold for them. I can only assume.
Okay, sure.
You sure?
Yep.
The Pittsburgh Pirates are in the top 10 of the Major League Baseball Power Rankings. They are 16-7. They have won 7 games in a row. They're playing great baseball, and it's so much fun to see. They were not ranked last week, obviously. They have never been in my top 10, but they are here this week at number 10.
Number 9 also has not been ranked for you this season. The Orioles.
The Orioles, also a new entrant into these power rankings. The Orioles are playing such good baseball
Yes,
right
they
now.
are.
And it's so much fun to see Adley doing what Adley does best. He's raking. He's having himself like an MVP talent type year back there. And then you have everybody stepping up. Jorge Mateo has been great. Ryan Mountcastle, Grayson Rodriguez had a great start on Sunday. His first scoreless start. The Orioles are 14-7, and I just absolutely love to see the good baseball being played in Birdland. They're here at number 9.
At number 8, up 1 spot, the Texas Rangers.
The Texas Rangers also 14-7. Who saw this coming? Not a ton of people, but maybe we should have. I think people that weren't good, teams that weren't good last year, you kind of just like write off to start a year for whatever the reason may be. But if you really dive into it, the Rangers were good on the second half last year. And then you add a pitcher like Jacob deGrom, who on Sunday was Jacob deGrom himself. He was fantastic, lights out, dominant. And then you pair that with a really good offense so far this year. The Rangers are here at number 8, and they have all of the makings. They do have the ability to be a playoff team. They do.
Oof, I like that. All right, at number 7, down 3 spots, the New York Yankees.
The New York Yankees are down 3 spots. Yes, they are 13-9. They lost the series to the Toronto Blue Jays, so that series could have sent either of those teams one way or another. But a big series in the AL East. Yankees lose it, so I bumped them down a few spots because of these teams that I have over them.
All right, number 6, up 1, the New York Mets.
Yes, the Mets are one of those teams that jumped back ahead of the Yankees. The Mets had a great week, and as we are currently filming, Alex, this episode is recorded later on Sunday night, so the Mets are playing in the Sunday night baseball game, but going for a great week, going for a sweep or a great week as well, and they've won 8 of their last 10 games. Mets are playing really good, so I had to bump them up no matter what the end result ends up being on Sunday, which you will all know by the time you're listening to this.
All right, now for your top 5. At number 5, down 2 spots, the Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers in that weekend series against the Red Sox just didn't look very good. So, honestly, 5 and 6 was a close one. The Mets are playing better than the Brew Crew, but I must say, I needed to keep the Mets at 6 because this is a fact. The Brewers did sweep them earlier in the year. So Brewers had not the best week in the world, but still looking really good, and they're still in the top 5, just down a couple of spots.
All right, number 4, up 1, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Blue Jays beat the Yankees.
Yeah, they did.
It was a huge weekend series. So now the Blue Jays have beaten the Rays in a series this year, and the Yankees on the road there in New York. They looked really good. I picked the Rays to win the AL East, and winning series against those two teams will go a long way for them. They're here at number 4.
At number 3, down 2 spots, the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, the Braves got swept by the Houston Astros. So they were at number 1 last week, and just not a great week. I still believe the Braves are very, very good, and I stand by what I said and what John Smoltz agreed with. If you heard him talk about it on Saturday, I said I think not only is this Braves the best team of the last decade, I think it's the best team since the early 2000s. John Smoltz went one further and said this Braves might be the best Braves team since the Hank Aaron days, if not ever. That's how talented they are, but they did lose to the Astros this week. They're here at 3.
Who were at number 2, and they were not ranked last week. What a jump, the Houston Astros at number 2.
Look, the Astros weren't out of the top 10 because of a talent difference. They just weren't playing like they deserved to be in the top 10. But you go into a week and you beat the Blue Jays, who are a top 5 team in the power rankings, and you sweep the Atlanta Braves, who are at number 1 in the power rankings, and the consensus to be, right as of this week, the best team in the National League. You sweep those guys, you get back into your good form, which is why I predicted them to win the World Series. Yes, they weren't ranked because they weren't playing like they deserved to be. This week, they went above and beyond and certainly deserved to be back inside and ahead of all of these teams. Like, what am I going to do? Put them behind the Braves, who they just swept? No. Behind the Blue Jays, who they beat in a series? No. No. They deserve to be where they are, and I have them at number 2.
And back on top, up 1 spot, the Tampa Bay Rays.
19-3.
Whew.
The Tampa Bay Rays are 19-3 and have hit a home run in every single game this year and are on a historic pace. And they're on pace to, 19-3. What is that? On pace to win like 140 games? That would be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Does it happen? Maybe, but maybe not also. We'll see. Either way, 19-3 gets you back on top of the power rankings, and the Tampa Bay Rays round out this week's top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings.